Eminem's new album Side B has 16 songs that are full of references, disses, and other things that are insanely shocking. I mean, seriously, it seems like Shady is back and better than ever.
Did you miss me?
We'll help show all of them for you, and I promise you're not gonna want to miss this. But first, go ahead and be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Do you want to win any of these items on your screen? If so, be sure to watch the whole video, leave a like, and comment the hidden message. And with that being said, let's get right into the video.
The aggressive disses towards 6ix9ine, what we've all been waiting for.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
The rap community as a whole pretty much hates 6ix9ine, given that he's a snitch and a troll and so on and so forth. Yet ironically, Eminem himself hasn't called him out that much for one reason or another, even though 6ix9ine has posted about him in the past. Though I have to let you guys know, he did eventually delete those posts. We think it was likely out of fear of retribution.
That thing, it scares me.
But in Side B, he opens up a track with a line, "She says I'm trash, but she listens to Tekashi." This just shows the power of Eminem right here. I know you guys might be thinking that's just one line, it's weak, but that's because he only needs one line in one track to bury the man. Just one, all while speaking the truth. 6ix9ine is absolutely trash, and anyone who listens to him and likes his music, I think you seriously need to think about why you like his music. 6ix9ine is a faux rapper in all the ways that matter. Eminem has actually even gone out of his way to ignore him, despite 6ix9ine throwing the occasional barb his way. But we guess that feeling / desire is over, and we honestly just wish he would make a whole diss track about 6ix9ine. Plus, if you couldn't tell, this was also putting himself over in a certain way, because he's basically saying that on his worst day, on M's worst day, he's still better than 6ix9ine. And that's true. Guys, Eminem is an icon. 6ix9ine only wishes he was, and he tries to boast that he is, but come on, man, we all know better. Eminem has won major Grammys and even an Oscar for his work, and 6ix9ine can't even come close to that, and he probably never will. So in this moment, we should all just bow and thank Eminem for doing what he does best.
Got him! Got him!
Bringing fools to their knees and making us smile, because we know that rappers like him have our back. You're not gonna believe this, but the beef of Machine Gun Kelly and Eminem is back. In Zeus, Machine Gun Kelly gets an early mention as Eminem ponders someone who believes MGK came out on top in their infamous public feud. He says, "Fair weather wishy-washy, she thinks Machine washed me, swear to God man, her favorite rapper wish he'd cross me." And on Nat, the official video for which can be found below, M seemingly references MGK in the chorus again. They come at me with machine guns like trying to fight off a gnat. Eminem has never held anything back. He's never held back his dislike for Machine Gun Kelly in his tracks over the last 2 years. These two have a very personal thing going on, and in early 2020, MGK even made a song saying he, quote, won the feud, and went as far as to say that he killed Eminem. Now obviously Slim Shady would dispute that, as would most of the rap world, and I'm sure as would most of the listeners as well. I mean, what do you guys think? If any of you think MGK won, let me know in the comments, because I am curious. Now this next part is gonna be rough, because did he make a diss towards King Von? Absolutely not. This one isn't so much an insult as it is a tribute, but we're gonna mention it anyway. Towards the end of the third verse of Tone Deaf, Eminem pays tribute to the late King Von, who unfortunately was shot and passed away in November, R.I.P. King Von. In the song he says, "And R.I.P. to King Von, and it don't stop, and I know not." The "it don't stop" he's referring to is the unfortunate fact that more and more rappers keep getting hurt or their lives are taken in the streets. If you guys don't know, King Von was involved during a scuffle that included rival Quando Rondo, and that battle is still going on now. Add that to the plethora of other rappers who've had their lives taken in 2020, and you can see why Eminem is calling it out. Guys, it happens too much, and I'm just grateful that one of the biggest rappers, some might say the best rapper in the game, is speaking up about it, because it is a problem. Eminem went all out on Side B, because he even went as far as dissing the legend Snoop Dogg. Now listen, you might be shocked that there's a shot on the one and only Snoop Dogg in music to be murdered by, but it's true. In the last verse of Zeus, which is stacked, I mean absolutely smacked with name drops, and mentions Snoop while seemingly responding to comments he made earlier this year about Eminem's legacy. He says, "I'm diplomatic because I'm trying to be. Last thing I need is Snoop Dogg in me. Man, Man, doggy was like a damn god to me. Man, not really, I had dog backwards. Not the coolest thing to say to a man who usually goes and defends his fellow OG rappers. Now, you might be wondering, wait a minute, was that line about Snoop insulting Slim Shady's legacy? Let me explain, because this had to do with an interview that some perceived as harmless, and obviously others didn't. Guys, you see, while doing an interview, something led to Snoop not just bringing up Eminem, but bringing up the fact that he isn't in his top 10 list of best rappers ever. What's the reason for this? Why would he say that? Well, let me explain. In Snoop's eyes, it wasn't Eminem doing the rapping, it was actually his mentor, Dr. Dre. Dre has probably put Eminem in the position where he would be considered one of the top 10 rappers ever. I don't think so, but the game feels like that he's top 10 lyricist and all that comes with it. That's just because he's with Dr. Dre, and Dr. Dre helped him find the best Eminem that he could find. Which, honestly, I don't think that's a diss. It's not a diss, but he is saying that without Dr. Dre, he wouldn't have been anything, which you could argue is true from a certain point of view. But he also went on and said, there's some in the 80s that Eminem can't F with. He continues to say, like Rakim, like Big Daddy Kane, like KRS-One, like LL Cool J, like Ice Cube. Now, to be clear, he did praise Eminem later on, but he also noted that, quote, I can live without that, in terms of his music, which no doubt prompted the music we heard from Slim Shady. I mean, that has to be the reason why he said anything, right? Did Snoop respond? Yes, he did.
Nice.
Well, sort of. He did some cryptic posts on Instagram that made it seem like he wasn't going to back down from his comments, including noting that, quote, people who don't communicate think everything is an argument. You can read into that what you will, but I think it's pretty clear that Snoop was not amused by Eminem's swings at him, which, hey, you know what? That's understandable. The diss on Ja Rule. This diss is funny because it's an insult wrapped in a hypothetical scenario. In Eminem's opinion, the chance of police catching him in a theoretical hot pursuit is about as slim as 50 Cent calling a truce with Ja Rule per Discombobulated. In the song, he says, the day they catch me is the day 50 will call a truce and quash the feud with him and Ja'll actually spit a bar.
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
Now, if you guys don't know, this of course is a reference to the never-ending feud between 50 Cent and Ja Rule. These two have been going after one another for literally 2 decades now, and Eminem got roped into it during a definitive battle in the war. So, honestly, him dissing Ja Rule is his way of showing loyalty, while also pointing out a couple of impossibilities. I mean, he went as far as to say that Ja has never in his career spit a bar. That's pretty rough, but I think it definitely shows whose side he's on. You might not believe it, but Eminem dissed the police, and obviously it was a subject he needed to talk about. Now, don't get confused, he didn't diss the group The Police, we're talking about the actual police. I'm talking PD. There are several examples of Eminem showing his support for police brutality protests on Music to Be Murdered By, Side B. In These Demons, he opens the second verse with a line about the economic impact of the pandemic before rapping, black people dying, they want equal rights. And even on Zeus, M says, black people saved my life, and offers special RIP mentions to police brutality victims, including Breonna Taylor and Eric Garner. He raps, all that we want is racial equality. RIP Laquan McDonald, Trayvon and Breonna, Tatiana, Rayshard and Dominique, Eric Garner and Rodney King. No, we can't get along till these white mother effing cops who keep murdering blacks are off the streets. Now, it may sound strange to you that Eminem would rap about certain things, but honestly, in truth, he's been an activist. He is an activist and he's been one since his own rebirth after an overdose almost took his life. He doesn't want people to keep dying in the streets or because of police brutality, so you can bet he's going to make his voice heard and try and fight for those who are trying to bring peace. And again, I'm just grateful that someone with such a huge platform, someone whose words carry so much weight, is speaking up about this and bringing light to it because it's needed. But he keeps going. Eminem even went as far as to diss the MAGA movement. Trust me when I say Eminem is not afraid to go after those who are trying to make things worse as well. After mentioning his support for police brutality protests in These Demons, Eminem even mocks MAGA supporters who have taken to the streets during the pandemic era. This pandemic got us in a recession. We need to reopen America. Black people dying, they want equal rights. White people want to get haircuts. Some people protest, some people riot, but we ain't never escaping the virus. And if you guys feel that that may be a bit on the nose, that's because he's calling it like it is. Many people, especially a lot of Caucasian people, are protesting the need for masks and trying to live their lives as if the pandemic isn't real, as if it's not happening. But trust me, it's a real thing and it's still killing people, with thousands losing their lives almost every day. Like, this is happening on a daily. Yet some people still don't even believe in the virus and are trying to just go about their days getting haircuts and so on. And of course, the irony is that these people are protesting having to wear masks and not being able to go out and making a huge deal about it when there are people literally protesting police brutality and the killing of innocent people from the police who are supposed to protect us. So Eminem is right in his diss. If people don't get it together, we're never getting out of this. And if you think we're even close to finishing the surprises on this list, we're not even done, because I bet you weren't expecting to hear that even Billie Eilish got dissed.
What?
If you were to hear that Eminem is saying things about Billie Eilish, you probably would think that he was calling her out on her looks, her music, or something in between, right? But ironically, he decided to do a kind of sliding diss to her while also playing up something she said before. Back in May 2019, if you guys didn't know, Billie Eilish reflected on how Eminem, quote, freaked the F out of me as a child. Though that's not a diss, M references this interview comment in Alfred's theme. But I'm really just fulfilling my wishes of killing rhymes, which is really childish and silly, but I'm really like this. I'm giving nightmares to Billie Eilish. Again, it's not a full-on diss, but it is something funny nonetheless. It definitely made me laugh when I heard it. And of course, it's because when Billie Eilish was young was when Eminem was on top of the music world. So the fact that he scared her, given how she is now and what she sings about at times, it's actually really funny. Billie Eilish is now one of the biggest names in music, so it's nice to see this generation gap kind of closed between these two. Given Billie's personality, we're pretty sure she's okay with it. Billie Eilish needs to be careful bringing up Eminem's name though, and she better put some respect on it. But like I was saying, we're still rolling with the surprises, because I know for a fact no one expected him to diss Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein. And honestly, this was almost too shocking to mention. But in one song, Eminem decides to go after Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein with hilarious results.
Somebody stop me!
He raps, "Does Bill Cosby sedate once he treats to cheesecake and a decent steak? You think getting rid of me's a piece of cake? I'm harder than finding Harvey Weinstein a date, and that's why they say I got more lines than Black Friday." And honestly, the burns on this one are great. And we're sure many people are laughing at this one because we can make fun of these terrible men who did terrible things. They deserve to be made fun of. And Eminem has been known to go after bad people in the past. While it's true that Eminem has had his own issues in the past with women, it was mainly his ex Kim, in his respect. He's definitely never done and will never do what these two men have done. So they absolutely deserve their disses 100%, and the cherry on top is that they're absolutely hilarious. Though some people are mad because Eminem mentioned the Manchester incident. Here's something that likely no one saw coming, and probably for a good reason. In the first verse of Favorite, Eminem agrees that there's nothing funny about the Manchester Arena bombing, the terrorist attack at an Ariana Grande concert that he previously mentioned on the first chapter of Music to Be Murdered By. He raps, "And I know nothing is funny about the Manchester bombing, but we got something in common. Both of us are alarming." I love M, but we have to agree that him using this incident for a rap verse is kind of alarming, and not in a good way. You have to wonder what impact he was going for with this verse, and unfortunately it wasn't the only incident like this that he referenced. Seriously, he also brings up the Boston Marathon. The 2013 Boston Marathon also gets referenced on that same song, Favorite, with Eminem arguing that his metaphorical damage would be worse. He raps, "I could give the Boston Marathon a run for its money, and you could say I'm a little bit immature." Yikes, come on M, immature is definitely a word that many have thrown around at Eminem, mainly because at times he does come off as petty, especially as how he sings about his enemies and his exes. Though whether using this very public tragedy as a method of calling out those who have called him out and saying he can ruin lives with his words is definitely suspect, especially in today's day and age. I don't know if you can get away with that stuff. Eminem's always been controversial, and you know what, maybe in the past he could slide with it, but come on man, it's 2020, I don't know about this one. Eminem continues again his beef with the mumble rappers, dissing every rapper he thinks shouldn't be rapping, and that includes the Migos. Concluding his third verse on Zeus, he gives wisdom. M adds Migos to the list, or saying adios to Migos. I ain't dissing, I'm just trying to keep this a C note. This again is a reference to how fans have been all too happy to throw rappers under the bus after supporting them for so long. Not so ironically, Eminem has called out Migos in the past via Kamikaze because he doesn't think their style of rapping is true rapping, noting that they just string random words together to call it a song. So while he may be spreading wisdom, here he's likely calling out how Migos is gone and they're not likely to come back. And I don't know, we've been waiting on that third album for quite a while now. What do you guys think? I don't think they're coming back. I think they're all too busy doing their own thing. And he's not giving Chance the Rapper a chance at a career after saying his newest album is trash. On Zeus again, we hear a mention of Chance the Rapper as Eminem did a series of career-based warnings that also saw him mention Drake earlier in the third verse.
Probably from my mobile device.
They'll be calling you a trash bin, saying that your new one isn't better than your last, and even if it is, once they start to turn their backs, they ain't never coming back in. They did it to chance. Alright. This isn't so much of a diss, that's on us. This is more of a warning as to what people will do. So, you might say it's a diss on fans for those who want to turn their backs on the rappers themselves, which unfortunately has been a bit of a trend in recent times. But you could also say it's a diss because it says that Chance the Rapper isn't doing his part to keep those loyal to him in line. So, make of it what you will, and you know what? Let me know in the comments what you think. After dissing every rapper and singer he felt he needed to diss, he couldn't stop himself from mentioning, you all know her, Mariah Carey. Alright, to finish off with a classic Eminem fight, because if he loves to pick on someone, it's his ex, or the most diva-ish of exes, we mean. In the third verse of These Demons with MAJ, Eminem poses a rhyme-based inquiry to listeners that's been widely interpreted as a continuation of the MX Mariah saga. He raps, I got a question, what rhymes with pariah? Now honestly, guys, this shouldn't be too much of a surprise. Once upon a time, if you didn't know, Eminem and Mariah Carey were somehow, it doesn't even make sense that they were, but at one point in time they were a couple, and surprise surprise, it ended badly. And then the two had a falling out that led to multiple songs dissing the other, including one by M labeled The Warning. Now recently Mariah Carey has fired back via a tell-all book, but Eminem is clearly reminding people that he will always get the last word in. So while it's true that one should hope that these two were able to go and mend fences and all that, we should also openly and honestly acknowledge that, you know what, that's crazy, these two just don't like each other. Whatever fire or love or even passion that was there, guys, pack it up, bro, because it's clearly gone. And so for us to hope that they could truly get back together even as friends is a bit naive. Plus honestly, I don't know who's hoping for that, because I'm not. I don't know if I even care that much. And if you were curious, pariah refers to an outcast, which you could argue is Mariah right now in her life and career in certain aspects, and I'm sure M would agree. But then again, you could also say that about Eminem in certain respects. Overall though, this diss is just another in a long line of them that shows just how mad he was about what happened with Mariah. It's not petty per se, but maybe it is. It's definitely a little sad that he just hasn't moved on. But with that being said, there you go, a look at the tracks on side B of Music to Be Murdered By and how many disses there were in the songs that were made for it. Guys, were you honestly surprised that Eminem was able to fit in so many of these disses on a wide variety of people? Which ones did you laugh at the most when he let loose on them? Again, I think the funniest ones were the ones on Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein. Which ones shocked you the most in that they were there? Again, for me it was the Cosby Weinstein ones. I never would have thought in a million years that would be there. But this is about you guys. Go ahead and let me know in the comments down below what you think. Be sure to subscribe. I'm King Trending, and I'll catch you guys next time on the channel.